Hey guys, this is Adam from BC Fig Farm and Fruit Orchard, and today is January 16, 2023. And I just figured I'd give you a quick update on what's going on with my in-ground fig trees and what my process is for this year, what we're testing out in the environment lab-wise. We're trying a couple new things to see what trees will survive our Zone 6B winters. So let me get started and let you know what we're doing. So first of all, this year, we didn't cover any of our fig trees, and that's the first thing that we're going to experiment with this year. As you can see, none of the fig trees are covered. We're leaving all of them out in the environment open. And what I did was I cut back all my fig trees to about 36 to 48 inches. And I saved the cuttings inside, and I'm making new trees from those cuttings. But what I wanted to do was cut them back because I have a friend of mine in New Jersey, lives down in Secaucus. He let me know that he cuts his fig trees back every year, and every single year he gets growth from either the roots or he gets growth from the trunks of the trees. So this year we're going to see what trees survive in ground and what trees die. And the trees that die, we're going to move back to the pots and bring them indoors in the wintertime. And the trees that don't die, we are going to do this every single year. We're going to cut the trees all the way back to their trunks in order to get growth for the next year. Now, I already experimented with some of these trees last year, and I'll give you the status update on what we got figs out of and what we didn't. So, of course, the brown turkey, which everybody knows in New Jersey does very well. We got figs, but figs very late last year. Our Petite Negra, we barely got any figs, but we got a couple in late October, early November. So you have to be careful what trees you're leaving in the ground and what trees are developing late, so that you know what trees you're getting figs from. So if you're not going to get figs and you're leaving the fig trees in the ground, it makes no sense. You might as well take those trees out, put them in a pot, bring them in the wintertime, and then bring them back out. And for the trees that do well in the ground in the wintertime, you leave them in, let them grow back, and then they grow figs in the fall, as long as they grow by November. So we're going to walk around the fig orchard now and show you that I basically cut down all of my fig trees in order to make cuttings, and we'll just walk by each one and show you that none of them are covered. They're all in the ground. And what I did was I created a really nice mulch base around the fig trees, nice and thick, so that, as you can see today with the sun, it's warming them up and keeping those roots nice and warm. Because if the trunk dies, if we have to cut this trunk down, at least we'll have this fig tree growing from the roots again, from the bottom. And we've cut down every single fig tree in my orchard. I went crazy this year because I wanted to experiment with the different types of figs from all over the world to see what would survive our Zone 6B climate. There's our Sucrette from France. That's a really good tree. It's rooted well. I'm hoping it comes back from the bark this year. Moving on, we have our Italian section here with all our Italian fig trees. You know, our Genovese Nero, which is pretty thick. I don't see any damage to it yet, any cold hardy damage to it. If you're gonna see cold hardy damage, you're gonna see it towards the top here, which we would just cut off in the spring and see what grows from there. Another great tree that I cut back from is our Black Beauty 10. What a great fig that is. We have here our Basilica Sicca. Looks like it's doing very well in the cold climate back here, unwrapped in the winter time. Which one is this one? This is our Nero 600M right here. This grew in the mountains, cold mountains of Italy, and it looks like it's doing very well not being covered in the ground. Even if we get roots from the base, as long as we get figs by the end of the year, I'm very happy. If we don't, we got to rip it out and put it back in a pot. Here's our Dave Sicilian right there, looking great again. I see no damage on the interior part of the tree and the milk layer on the inside of the bark. Another great tree right here. Our Peter's honey looks great. And we have our South Coeur d'Leone, which was one of my favorite figs, large. They give you Breva crop. They give you a lot of figs. This South Coeur d'Leone from Italy. I believe I grew the trunk thick enough so that it's not going to be damaged in zone 6B. But if it does, we'll just cut it back down and we'll let it grow from the base again. And we'll see if we get figs by October, November. Anyway, this is a quick update about our winter progress with the figs and what I'm experimenting with this winter. As you can see, the whole fig orchard is uncovered. Not one fig tree is protected this winter, and that's the way I want it. We want to see which ones survive, and the trees that don't survive, we're just going to pull in the garage for next year and leave the other ones in the ground. Although I did talk to my friend in Secaucus, and he says he cuts his trees back to 24-30 inches every single year, and they survive every single year by doing this. So we will see. We'll also have a follow-up video on the cuttings that I took from these trees, and I can show you the progress on which ones are growing the fastest. And we took about 4 cuttings per tree, so we're going to have about 4 fig trees per tree that I do have. So I have 400 fig trees right now growing on a heating pad for who's ever interested in the spring. I know I have to give one to my good buddy Pecoraro. He's been asking for a tree. I'm either going to give him the São Miguel Roxo, or I'm going to give him a nice South Coeur d'Leone from Italy. So that's coming to him. I have that in my garage being protected right now, but the next video will be on the cuttings we took from the fig trees. Anyway, hey Cone, hey Cone, what are you doing? What are you doing? Come here, Blondie. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Beautiful colors. Look at her. She's beautiful. Beautiful color. That's such a good girl. Yeah. Go get him. Go get him. Go bite somebody. Anyway, Adam from BC Fig Farm and Fruit Orchard signing off. What a beautiful day it is in January. And we'll see from our outdoor lab experiment what fig trees will survive. Talk to you soon.